the bottom right-hand side. So it's very, very useful for the speakers, but also it is useful to get some idea what this guy is talking about at a glance. So this is one example. I prepared this one, and some people say, "Oh, this is too much words." I know that, but still, this is one example. And uh, maybe if you have any question, just give it to me later on, please. Okay, and then next page shows how to. Okay, so far, the audience, the people have some idea what A3 is all about, right? If they are new, totally new or not new, they know the concept of A3. They are familiar with this. That's my question. Okay, never mind. Okay, then next page, page 5, please. These are, I'm going to very quickly, what is the process? What is the steps that we need to take? I put it down um, on the center. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. And step 1, step 2 is scenario. First, you need to do that. You have to develop the scenario, the story. What kind of story, what kind of flow of thinking you have to prepare. Based on that step 1, step 2, if you finish it, then based on the scenario, you will create your A3 document. You have to put it down in writing, in the typewriting, whatever. So basically, two major steps, major area. One is step 1, step 2 is a developer scenario. Okay, then step 1 is, of course, as you see, clarify the purpose. And A3 has not only one purpose, but target is actually the purpose of A3. You have to, if you prepare A3, you need to decide what is the purpose of this A3 document and to whom. On the right-hand side, decide to whom or for whom you are going to prepare this A3. And also decide what kind of situation use in the big room, big meeting room, or the one-to-one, and situation is also important. And also decide the purpose. Why you prepare this A3? You want to convince somebody, you don't just to give some general information to somebody, or you want to get receive an okay from their boss, or just share it with somebody else. So you have to decide the purpose of this A3. That is first thing you need to do. And then based on that, decide the message. That is the step 1. So you clarify the purpose. The second step is scenario story. So decide right-hand side. I put outline and focus. What are the most important thing you need to put in this A3? So scenario, you have to create a scenario, and you have to get some data and key sentences and supplementary data, and you have to prepare. If you talk something verbally, then sometimes people don't understand. So sometimes you need to prepare some document or data or numbers or photos or something so that the reader can clearly understand that. And of course, it's all those scenarios should be convincing, easy to understand. That is step 1, step 2. Based on that, you have to start writing. So step 3 is layout. Layout means there is the small space. A3 is bigger than A4, but space is still limited. So you have to decide the layout and the entire layout. So first you have to put some blank boxes and maybe 4 or 5 boxes in the blank sheet, an A3 document. And then you take a look and check whether your idea will flow all the way from left to right. That's step 3. Then step 4, based on your idea of layout, it's blank layout. Then you put some sentences in those boxes. actually describe and write it down what you think is important to convey. Describe the content. That's step 4. And after you finish all those, writing and everything in the box on the A3, then step 5 is check. After you write it, everything, then it's not the final one. You have to go through that yourself from the first corner of the left, right, up there, then or go down there and to the right. You have to go through that and check whether your idea is now represented correctly and the story flows, and what your purpose is already included in here, expressed in here. You have to check. So this is so important. So these are the step 1, step 5 are key steps you need to go through. Page 6, please. This is a little bit detailed. So I put that red line is a step 1. Step 1 is already shared with you, but decide to whom, for whom you're gonna present this one. If it's a president, then president is very busy, and he or she does not necessarily know everything. So you have to make sure that he or she president can understand. So you have to decide who you prepare this document. And second one, situations. And the next one is purpose of your A3, because sometimes you want to get an okay to go ahead or just give top management some basic understanding or whatever. So you have to decide the purpose, the purpose for this A3, and also decide what kind of key information message you want to convey in this A3. So you have to prepare this one. That is step 1. Step 2 is then how are you gonna put this in what order and how much space you're gonna give to each boxes. So develop a scenario, and so on the right hand decide the outline and focus points, and also supplementary data. If you just write only sentences that sometimes it's not easy to understand. Sometimes you need to prepare some graphs and some illustrations or something like that to make it very visible. That is and of course verify scenario.
Cannot hear you.
We can't hear you. I think your microphone is off. We still can't hear, but we can see that your microphone is off here. It's that's the problem. No, it's still we still can't hear you.
You need to press the icon in the top right corner.
Yeah, probably. That's this one. Maybe it's turned off here.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's
okay.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. In the last 10 minutes, you cannot hear anything?
No, like 2 minutes.
Okay, right now. Okay. All right. Then where was I? Well, step 3 is layout. And say layout is important because if the most important thing should have a larger space, and that's a layout. Step 4 is you describe the content. Again, even though A3 is a big space, but still space is limited. So you have to check whether your description is correct and description is okay or not. So you have to go through that. And of course, easy to understand. Because in the case of PowerPoint, you can put so many things in page 1, page 2 to page 20. But A3 is just one piece of paper, so space is limited. So you have to check the content. That's step 4. Then finally, step 5 is entire doc. You have to check whether you take a little bit, look from long. Take take a look entire A3 document and make sure that your idea, your intention flows from left to right. And also you put the right expression, also necessary data, illustration, and what you want them to make some decision, or what is the target for you to attain by using this A3. So this is a kind of steps. Oh, I already just talked everything. But the next one is, I already talked about it, the next page 7. For whom, and the situation, the purpose, and the message. Anyway, the most important thing is that A3 is just one piece of paper. So, for the writer, the space is limited and also limited. So you want to put everything, but you have to select the most important thing. That is important for the writer, and also for the reader, the people who receive this A3. You need to take a look at this. What is the purpose of this A3 document, and what this guy want me to do? Just get some information and that's it, or make some decisions, or just need some actions. So it is so important for the speakers, and also the person who listen to this A3. Also those guys need to understand what this guy is trying to tell me. So always, after you finish, when you develop A3, after you write everything, then you have to check whether all those key items is nicely, laid out, and also you used very key expression in the document, or so. So those things are very, very important. And I already just talked about all those things already. So okay, next page 8, and yeah, I think I skipped all those details, but so far, are you okay, or you have any questions so far? That's too simple.
May I ask a question? I would like to ask about the
Yeah.
focus point. Do you think it is important to have one main focus point, for example, one box, or all boxes should be like independent and none of them should be more accented by others? What is the best approach?
Yeah. Say it again, please.
I would like to ask about the focus point. Do you think that only one focus point should be in A3 document, or all the boxes should be equal?
Well, actually, focus point. Well, actually, each box has some intention. So, each box has the intention. So, if you want to talk about, if the leaders, if the guy who received this A3 document is totally new to the topic, then you have to prepare some background first. Then, your intention is to get an but make the big shot to understand the entire, situation and the entire picture. He or she can get the big picture clearly. So if that is the purpose, then you have to make sure that whether you used the keyword easy to understand, or necessary data, and so you have to double check. So that is one of the most important thing for the guy who prepared this A3. Is that what you're talking about, or different?
Yes, basically yes. So thank you.
So I already skipped all those detailed things, but so today audience has not seen this document before, but only see this screen only. So they either people received this document already or
No.
not yet. Oh, okay.
Not yet. We are recording our meeting, and the meeting with the document will be placed on the website after the meeting.
Oh,
So,
I see. I'm
yeah.
sorry. Just okay. Then what time do we need to finish this one? 15
actually,
minutes.
we were supposed to finish at 2:30, but we have, I don't know if our audience agrees to make it longer because we started later. Is that okay? Or 2:30 is the deadline?
I'm okay, but how about your
Yeah.
audience?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking if the audience is if for you it's okay if we add this 20 minutes, or you have time only for 2:30.
Well, I'm fine. On
It's
my
okay.
side, I'm
Okay.
fine, but just ask your audience.
Yeah, I can see the responses now, and I can see it's okay. So I think we have time until 10 to 3.
Okay, great. Then I skip most of the detail, but maybe just again, I'm sorry, but I'll go back to this maybe page 6, and very quickly I'm going to go through that. And then I want to receive your comments, because on the page 18 or 19 or 17 or 18, 19, I put some examples. So I go through the very quickly about the story, and then I will show you some examples, good and bad. Not bad, but then we discuss about it. Okay, take a look at page 6. I already talked about it. Page 6, step 1. Step 1 is very important. Why you prepare this one. Then page 7, I already talked about it. On 1, 2, 3, 4 items. One is for whom, I already talked about. Second is situations. Situation means one-to-one situation, or big meeting room, or how you do this. So situation sometimes is important. Right hand side, the purpose. The purpose is only if you want to give some general information to the big boss, then you have to prepare that way. But if you get an okay for some making decisions, then you have to, show them some key, information, so that your boss can make some decisions. So the paper is prepared by the purpose of this document. And number 4 is the message you want to convey, because message you have to make it clear. I already explained this. Number 8, page 8, I already talked about scenario. So detailed is, please take a look at 9, page 9. This is the step 2 scenario. On the left-hand side, 1, 2, 3, the left-hand side, regular status. Okay, there are 3 or 4 different purposes to use this A3. And many people in the world, Lean world, believe that A3 is main purpose is to problem solving. And because John, you remember John Shook is the Lean coach, and John Shook wrote a book about A3 a long time ago, and he focused on A3 is for problem solving. So many people in the world, Lean world, believe that okay, A3 is only for the problem solving. Actually, it's not. One is again on the page 9, as I said, regular status report. That is not a problem solving. The status report, when you have something totally new, then you have to put down all these things from that viewpoint whom they know anything about it. And number 2 on the center, problem solving. This is what John Shook was writing in his book. Problem happens, then you have to describe what is a key problem which happened, what was the reason why it happened, and something like that. So John Shook's books only talks about problem solving purposes. That's number 2. Number 3 is the project proposal, new proposal. For example, if you want to start a new project in your department, then you prepare some A3 document and bring it to top management. So new proposal, that means you want to start this project. So you want to get an OK from top management. So you have to put down all the key items so that president can make some judgment. So there are 3 or 4 purposes. Another one, so maybe 1, 2, 3, the regular status report and the problem solving second. Number 3 is project proposal. One more thing is that status reporting. Status reporting is that when you have some regular meeting, then, not every week, but maybe every 3 months, you get together and each 3 months, after 3 months, you get together and big boss would like to know what is the status of the project you have started three months ago. So status report is also another purpose of this A3. I forgot to include this one. So status report is particularly within Toyota. We very, very often used A3 for status report. Status report means the purpose is clear, everybody knows. Target, everybody knows. Everyone knows the target, everybody knows the key items. Everybody wants to know whether the things are moving smoothly or not, as originally scheduled or not. So status report is another purpose. I forgot to include this one. So those are 4 key items for the A3, how A3 is used. Number 10, page 10, but it's already discussed about it, and the outline, and yeah, I think all. Yeah, number 10 is okay. Then page 11. I already talked about supplement data. That means if you expect your boss to make some decisions or to understand completely, then you have to check whether what you have written already is enough, or you need to add more data on the A3 document. So that type of analysis is important when you finalize the document. And on this page on the bottom, verify the entire scenario is convincing. That convincing means logically consistent. So it's using the facts, numbers, and the facts, not assumptions. And also, if you want to get an OK from your boss, then all the expressions needs to be prepared to ask, to share all the key issues with their boss so that he or she can make some decisions based on what you're, talking about. And page 12, and again, layout. I already talked about layout is important because again, the PowerPoint, not, the A3, the space is limited. So you have to use the layout, you put key, very, very important thing using larger space. And so you have to think about what is the best layout of the entire A3 space. And also the story, whether story flows good or bad. And that is what I was explaining. And so that is on the page 12. And page 13, then I already talked about layout. And basically, as you see on the right-hand side, when we look at this A3 document, first portion, we take a look at this on the left, maybe top line, but also on the left up there, upper part. Then you go down, then you look at to the right-hand side, from the left to right. That is how we read documents. So you have to prepare all those key items in order for to help the reader to to understand more clearly what this guy is talking about. And so, in other words, the story will flow from left top to left bottom, then to the right top and right bottom. Story flows all the way on the surface of A3 document. The story flows is very, very important. Then page 14, and I already talked about it. And this is important. Okay, page 14, and the details is page 15. You have to put down all the key information, data, and sentences. That should be simple and concrete. And also sometimes, if you write all the sentences, then that's too much. So sometimes, when you talk about some large numbers or some data or something, sometimes you put some data, some graph or something, make it visual, make them it visual image. So those data is so important to really helps them to understand very clearly what this guy is talking about. So not only sentences, but these graphs are very, very important. And sometimes, use bold numbers. Bold means, thick bold, as you see. Because if you have so many sentences and long sentences, sometimes, it's difficult to really understand. So most important thing, you put some, Gothic or underline or different color or something. That will help the document to clarify what you're trying to tell them. And page 16, well, I already talked about it. And okay, then just let me skip and please, can you take a look at page example, page 17, no, 18. Page 18, right. This is AC example. It's a problem. So this is the example. Actually, this is not I prepared. Somebody else prepared this one. So I don't know so much about what is going on. But the layout, I don't like so much about the layout because look at this right-hand side. The space is a little bit smaller. So you have to use all the space more efficiently. It's a small thing. But good thing is that, in certain places, he put this data or the graphs so that, and very short sentences, but graphs will very, very, clear. So you can see the trend. It's bigger or smaller and good or bad. So in A3 report, sometimes you put key information in the graphs or whatever. So easy to understand. So using too much, sentences sometimes make the listener just confused, not confused, but it's not easy to understand what this purpose is. So this is layout. It's not so good. However, this is one example. Maybe this was a draft, and I don't know why I put this one, but I received this one from somebody else, so I put this one, but this is good and bad. But you can find out one example. And next page, that's an example, page 19. And well, actually, this is the document a long time ago when I was in the United States and in Memphis, or now 2015, a long time ago. But this was a kind of proposal because we had a meeting together with Memphis people on something, and we have but we have 10 people, and 10 people have totally different opinions. So I prepared, after all the big discussion, I prepared this one for the next action plans. And as you see, there are too many sentences. I prepared this maybe too much. However, I know that these sentences is important. So I put this bold, some key things in the bold. Bold means thicker, so that if they are busy, then they just take a look at this board, words, and also the schedule on the bottom on the right-hand side, schedule. And this is very easy to understand the schedule, because if you put down some only January, February, that is, if you write down only those words, you cannot imagine the timeline. So these are charts will be very useful for people to understand when and how and what order. And so on the left-hand side, maybe too much. So this is not necessarily the very, very good example, but this is one example I just wanted to show you. And so actually, at the time, I was talking about how to prepare some A3 document, and this is one example. And okay, next one, page 20 is a proposal. I did not finish this. Oh, okay. Take a look at this one. Title: What is Clean Air Act in the U.S.? What is the impact of the Japanese car manufacturers like us? So we prepared this document, and when was it? Maybe late 60s and 1960s, 1970s, early 70s, because Clean Air Act was started in the United States, but we have no idea. As you see on the right hand, no idea. CO, NOx needs to be reduced by 95% after 1975. It's a very, very stringent regulations. And if we don't pass this test, we cannot sell our cars in the United States. So very, very serious situations. But very few people know about it, so we have to prepare this type of document in the Japanese writing. So when I take a look on the left-hand side, what is left up? What is the Clear Air Act? Number 2, why was this act passed in the United States? Why? How this happens? Number 3, how did Big Three react to this one? Because this Clean Air Act is designed for Big Three manufacturers, but that also includes the Japanese manufacturers like Toyota and Nissan and other companies. So it is important for us to know what is their reaction. Number 4, what are the impact to Japanese car manufacturers? This is very important. So when you look on the left-hand side, then you can top management can understand, okay, this is important. Looks like this is very important. It's going to be a big impact for us. Then number 5, what do we need to do? So I don't know, but we prepare this one. Okay, we need to, first of all, we need to understand details of this regulations. Then we have to decide what we need to do this month, this year, next year. And the number 6, what are the big hurdles? Of course, this is totally new regulations. So we have to develop some totally new technology, which is very, very, very important. Number 7, what are actions to cope with bill? What are the actions? This is not a technical area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are mostly what we need to Toyota. But number 7 is right now Japanese government does not know much about this one. they know a little bit. But so we have what we need to our Japanese government. So besides technical development, so this is number 7 is our, which means in our Tokyo office staff members responsibility. What we need to do as Toyota to cope with this new trend, new regulations to Japanese government and to among the Japanese manufacturers, what we need to do that. Number 8, what is the timeline? This is important. So these are one of the documents that we prepared in the late 60s, around 90s, long time ago, 70s. This is totally new situation. So we just, and it was a lot of work required, but it's very, very interesting experience, particularly for me. And so at the time, of course, top management is so busy. So we cannot prepare 10 pages of document. We cannot. He cannot read this. So we have to prepare this type of A3, 1 page of document. Maybe the president, can read this in the train, in the bullet train on his way back from Tokyo to Toyota City. He can take a look at our A3 document. And this is what's happening in the United States. Okay, Tokyo office people wanted me to think about what we need to do, and this is a huge impact for us. So, and this is what we are heavily involved in A3. It was the first experience for me. And another example is page 21. Just take a look at this. This is too busy. Very too busy. However, Japanese version. This is one of my boss. My boss's presentation of a new project, and this is I think final report. But this, as you see, this is too much words. But it's okay because as you see on the right hand side, and you see double circle and 1 circle and triangle or minus or circle minus. This is the evaluation. So even though this is too busy, but still he put this evaluations. So far, my evaluation of our activities is double circle is very good. So easy to see. And when this is this is 80. 80 so we have a big interview, not in the, we have big activities on the, we call it Kanri Nordic program, which is designed for the general manager, high rank managers. So this is a big, huge event within Toyota. I see title is Come Pro. Come Pro is the name, it's shortened the name. And so this is my boss's document. And of course, this is busy. However, he put all the key things. And when when he make a presentation, he did not read everything, because the people who receive this document, he's looking already. He's reading already quickly. So only thing my boss did is that talks about key things on this one, only key topics, very quickly, from left to right. And so even though many people said, oh, this is too busy, it's not a good A3. No, it is not bad. Because when you make a presentation, everybody knows that this is too busy. But if you have limited 10 minutes, then you can go through that and only explain that key topics on each boxes. So I still like this document very much, because even though you are totally new, that still within 10 minutes you can have a general big picture whether this what he's saying is good or bad, and his evaluation you can clearly understand. And I'm showing the examples, and last one is I think I told you Hoshin Kandi is a Japanese word. Hoshin Kandi is it's you set the new target of this year, then in order to attain the target you have to establish some action plans. and when, timing, who's in charge. So this is one example of the Hoshin Kandi document. This is a review. No, not a review. This is a plan. When you plan, when you start your new year, actually, this is my own. Okay, oh, this is prepared for me. This is the Hoshin document that I prepared at the beginning of the year. So this year, 2023, this year, in January, I prepared this because we start working January to December. So I prepared this document. And okay, this is what I would like to accomplish. Okay, I put this on the top. IY, it's me. Isao Yoshino's vision for 2023. Visions 1, 2, 3. One is health, because I'm getting older, so being healthy is so important. Number 2, lean Europe and North America, lean activity. Number 3, lean activity in Japan. So I have 3 different key areas that I have to cover this year. Health is totally my personal items, but second one is lean in Europe and in America. Third one, lean in Japan. 3. And based on this key vision, I put down all these key Hoshin documents on left-hand side. And first, line feedback from 2022, which is feedback that review. This is a review of each. Oh, look at this each area. I put down on the vision health. Number 1, health. Second one, lean overseas. Number 3, lean Japan. So in each boxes, I put down my feedback from 2022. This is my review. Based on the review, I created key Hoshin for this year in January. Then what is actually the target numbers or actually target to attain to the right? Then in order to attain the target, I must have developed my own action plans. So detailed action plans, I put it down on the right-hand side. Then on the far right, schedule. So on the left-hand side, review of the last year. Then based on that, I put my Hoshin target, Hoshin items, vision, my plan. Based on that, I put the target, what to attain. In order to attain the target, there are several action plans on the right-hand side, then the schedule. So the reader will go through from left to right. So this is the basic format of Hoshin Kandi document, which I prepare each year. And actually, this is already November, so I have to start reviewing this one in this month and next month. Then end of December or early January, I have to prepare a same thing, which is review of 2023. Then I plan 2024. So this is Hoshin Kandi document, and probably in Japan, Toyota is one of the most enthusiastic companies to do this type of Hoshin Kandi activities in the world. Well, not in the world, but in Japan. In Japan means in the world. So and so that is part of my regular practices to put something on the document, what I want to accomplish, not only in my mind, but I put it down in writing, because some people ask me, Yoshino-san, what is your target of this year? What are the key items you want to accomplish this year? So I just always just share this. Okay, this is what I'm planning to do. So when you express verbally, sometimes you miss something important. But when you write it down, then it is more helpful for the people who ask you. But more importantly, it is a very, very good reminder for yourself, for myself. Okay, so that is, well, I skipped the last one, but problem solving. But anyway, I'm terribly sorry that my explanation is not so organized tonight. I'm sorry, but this is, I started with A3 thinking and also ended up with examples. And so if you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer. And also, if you have any question later on, you can write it down and send it to me, because Eva knows my email address. So people can send us, question to me anytime. I'll be very happy to answer. Sorry to very poor preparation was good, but this handling was poor. And so any questions so far, please?
Thank you very much for the lecture. I'm sure there are questions because the discussion has started even before the lecture. So
Oh, I see. Okay, please go ahead and
yeah. So
let
I
me know.
think that the certainly there are some questions. So if you want to ask, please ask now. That's a good occasion to do it. Actually, I had one question when you were presenting those A3 examples. I can see that there is one question, so I will finish quickly mine. When you were presenting those examples of A3 reports, and previously you said that this is very important to establish the audience of that. And I wonder to, because the example with the Clean Air Act, I understand that was the example that was aimed to convince the boss, yes, some top management.
Right.
And how about the other one, the second one, which was prepared by your boss, and that you said that there is a lot of information there, but still it is good for the 10-minute presentation. So I understand that this was aimed for the larger group of managers. That one, yes. So actually, what is the detailed advice that you could give us when aiming the presentation to a large audience and to the small audience?
I see. Well, actually, it's talking about audience. If you talk to maybe limited group of people who are quite familiar with the topic you're talking about, then you have to prepare this so that they have known something already. So you don't have to start from the beginning, because they are quite familiar. Then you can prepare a document in very key things only. What is the status or whatever. But if it depends on the people who you are talking to. If you are talking to the people who don't know anything about what you are going to explain, then you have to prepare the very basic thing. So it depends on the people who you are talking to. And it depends. And so the new proposal is sometimes if it's totally new, just like a Clean Air Act, totally new, people don't have no idea. So you have to spend more time. Okay, what's going on in the United States? What is the impact to us? And what kind of investment is necessary? What kind of mentality we need to prepare? So we have to prepare so many things if it's totally new to us. And so it depends on the content of the topic of you are trying to report. So it depends on the people who you're talking to. Also, it depends on what kind of topic you are talking about. Another thing is it depends on whether this is just a status reporting or you want to get some decisions from the top management. It depends on the type of documentation. So each time is different. And as you see, my boss, the very detailed one is not my document, it's my boss document. And so the people who hear this, my boss's presentation, they know everything. So that's why my boss, Mr. Sugiura, put all those very detailed data, because his boss knows everything. Knows quite familiar with that. So even though he goes into details, still boss can understand it. Actually, boss needs to know all those details. So it depends on the need, the necessity, and what they would like to know from you. So so don't focus on what you want to tell them, but you have to focus what you want them to do. Make decisions also, just keep in mind the purpose of your presentation. It depends. What you write it down, it depends on who you are talking to, why you are preparing that.
So it requires collecting some data on the audience first.
Audience first, yeah. If the audience does not know anything about details of the data, if you put all the key data too detailed, they have no idea. So if they don't know anything about it, then you have to prepare the very easy to understand, very not too detailed, just trained or something. So it depends on who you are talking to.
Okay.
Again, you have to prepare based on what you want them to make decision, not what you want to tell them.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Thank you very much. I can see that we have at least 3 persons that would like to ask the questions. So
sure.
Please feel free to ask. I don't actually know who's the first one, so who has the hand up? I can see Dobrochna.
So I was the first one,
yeah.
So I switched off my hand app. So if you don't mind, I will start with question. First, thank you for the opportunity to having you here and listening to your experience with A3 is fabulous. And my question is here about, because the book of John Shook is giving a great emphasis on the cooperation between boss and the employee, or the person who is responsible for A3 and the person who is supervising the process. And I think this is the part which is completely different in the way of working comparing to other methods we are using in the business. And could you give some more explanation about this? Did you find it difficult being employee preparing A3 with somebody who is supervising this? And opposite, when you was a boss, what was it difficult for you supervising somebody who is doing the steps in A3 preparation?
Well, actually, again, I don't know whether I understand your questions so clearly, but it's, if you prepare something, first thing you have to keep in mind that who you are talking to. And that's one thing. Another thing is that what is the purpose of your preparation of this A3 document? And the purpose is just giving the general understanding, giving the general outline on something, and that you want your boss to know what's going on. Then there is the way that you express one. But if you want him or her to make some decisions, then you have to give them all those conditions to make some decisions. Depend on the purpose, and it depends on the people you're talking to. So each time you prepare A3, the content depends. The content is you need to prepare the content based on the purpose and based on the people you're talking to. So there's no standard example of A3. Actually, there is no.
This I understood.
Okay.
But what I was asking about, it was that John Shook has been highlighting very much that each step you are going forward with preparing your A3. For example, you are finishing your background. You should meet your supervisor and show him a background where the supervisor has an opportunity to ask you a question, which allows you to prepare a better quality description in background. When the boss will tell, okay, the background is good enough, then you are able to progress with current state. When you are finishing your current state, you are going again to your boss to show him the current state, and the boss can ask you a question, how do you know that? Have you been there? Have you measured it? I'm talking about those steps and preparing the A3 in the way of the discussion between two people, at least two people, boss and the owner and the supervisor.
I
don't know whether I can understand correctly. Can you, Eva, you have any idea?
So the question could we say that the question is they do this way in Toyota?
do this way? What do you mean this way?
I want to be precise on the question to understand the question good. So could we say that the question, in other words, is that the way that was described, that each step has to be supervised by the boss? Is that the way that they do this in Toyota? Is that your question?
Yes, okay, we can simplify it to this.
Yeah, okay. So I understand that the question is that in some authors recommend that after preparing each step of this A3 report, it has to be reviewed and supervised by some manager.
Well, actually, it depends on the type of document. But if you have no idea what kind of process, what kind of layout you want to prepare, if you don't know that, then best way is that you just put down all those one empty boxes and share it with your boss and ask him or ask her. This is the story I want to make. No, you don't put anything, but just lay out your thought process and share it with him or with her. But so that's one way. No details, but just layout. You start with discussing with the layout and then discuss it. And then that is one way. Another thing is that if the boss is quite familiar, then you prepare everything and then you share it with them. It depends on how much your boss knows about it and what he or she are quite familiar. So you have to prepare depending on the people you are talking to. So I put down all these things as a kind of manual, but it's not a manual, but that is what, who you are talking to, and also what kind of decisions you want your boss to make, and what kind of message you want to convey. So it's a not only one way, but always, at Toyota, when we prepare something, if it's totally new, then what I did is that I prepare only boxes. Okay, here I put this data, here I put this data. The story, just like this, I would like to use these stories. What do you think, boss? Then boss tells me, I agree. Or if boss says, oh, no, you don't have to do this. I don't need this box, but I want you to put some other data. So you can, at Toyota, we always communicate very often. And you prepare something even though it's not incomplete, but still you can share it. Boss, this is not complete, but this is a story I would like to make, but I want to give some input before I start preparing. So it depends on the situation, depends on the people you're talking to. But within Toyota, we just very flexible. But so important is that always you have to prepare a document so that the people who you're talking to can understand very clearly what he or she needs to do when they hear your presentation. So communication is so important. Discussion is so important. Discussion takes place through this A3 document. That is the power of A3. So if your A3 is very too busy, still, if you sit down and discuss about 30 minutes going through that, then within Toyota, boss will say, okay, this is too busy. Why don't you leave this one? So that kind of conversation takes place over there. So it's very, very good training for both parties. For subordinates, good training, very good opportunity to learn from their boss. For boss's side, it's very, very important. It's very good opportunity to know what this guy, the people working for him or for her, is thinking when they are in charge. So anyway, so there are many ways how to do this. There's no any solid one way, but I don't know what this is what you're talking about. But that is what within Toyota always we discuss, even though it's not decided, but if it's half finished, still we carry this, we bring it to our boss, and it's okay. In other companies, okay, many bosses just already believe that, okay, my subordinate will finish everything perfect and bring it to me. No, within Toyota, bosses are ready to discuss even in the middle of the work, because communication is so important.
Yeah, that was my question actually about. Thank you very much for the answer.
My pleasure.
I can see that Natalia and Dobrochna have their hands up. I don't know who was the first, but Dobrochna seems ready. So
yeah, I am.
Yes,
I actually am. Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for the lecture. It was very enriching. But my question is, I believe it's simple, but I'm not sure whether the answer is simple. How long does it take to incorporate the A3 thinking in the organization culture?
It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, Axel, very good question. First of all, A3 is very time consuming. In order to create A3, very time consuming. Not so many people like to do this. So then what you need to, as a big boss, if you're a big boss, then you have to create your own hoshin, not hoshin, but you have to create something in A3 and share it with the people. You have to start, not everything, you have to start something from your side, so that then your subordinate will hear, oh, my boss is so busy, but still she's working something like this for me, to coach me or to share her opinion with me. So that is, everything should start from the boss. Everything, within Toyota, that is what bosses needs to do, needs to think. And not everything, but in most cases, bosses within Toyota, boss is not somebody who is just sitting over there, oh, I'm waiting for the report coming to me. No, he or she needs to come down to the people working for you and talk to them. So it's so different. That makes Toyota is so different from other companies. Boss is, of course, boss knows so many things, lots of very experienced, does not necessarily mean that his or her decision is perfect. So it's so important to communicate, and also the major role of the boss is, one is, of course, attain the target of that group. Of course, that's number one. But number two, the same importance is help people develop themselves. That is another very important responsibility of the bosses at Toyota, not in other companies. So that's why we spend so much time in preparing the A3 together. So it's maybe in the Western world, you're expecting A3, for example, that, okay, subordinate prepare A3, try to make it perfect. Then I'm ready to listen. Within Toyota, of course, that is perfect, but it's not. That it does not happen so often. So you are ready. If you show them you are ready to give some advice and make it a little bit better, then they will feel it. Oh, my boss is ready to listen to me, ready to help me to develop my ability. Then they can learn more quickly and more thoroughly from you. So that is the culture we created. Not we, but they created before I joined Toyota. So that was the reason why I'm very I'm proud of being part of Toyota, because that was a culture. I don't know whether that is what you're talking about, but that is additional information I would like to share with you.
Thank you very much. Yes, it was. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Now I can see Natalia had her hand
Natalia,
up.
hi.
Yes.
Hello, Yoshino-san.
Hi.
I
know you. I know you
too. I have a question, something that maybe you could also share with us, because as you know, I practice a little bit with a little help, from you. And I started with a free report coming to about my own Hoshinkanri, and now I'm preparing a free report for new proposal, and something which is very, very difficult for me as a talk active person. How can I put everything in one page? So how can I put every thoughts about the project, about the initiative, or about my coming year?
Well, actually, if you want to start preparing nice A3 layout, maybe it makes you feel very difficult. So first, you have to focus on what is the purpose. What is the purpose of this document, and then start from there. The purpose is to convince your boss this is important. When boss does not believe this is important, but you want to convince him or her this is important, then that is the purpose, is to convince your boss that this is important. You don't think important, but this is important because of these reasons. So it depends on who you are talking to. Depends on, so there is no standard format. There is a standard format. There is, in each work, there is no standard format to best fit to each situation, but it depends on who you're talking to, depends on why you are preparing this one. And to answer your question, if your boss is very detailed about data, always he or she wants to have a data to, if you say something, okay, my conclusion like this, then what is the data? You didn't. So if very data-oriented person, then you have to satisfy him or satisfy her. But that is not the too important thing, but most important thing is what you would like to accomplish using A3 with your boss. And that is, so that as long as you are sure that the purpose, your boss and yourself attaining the same goal, if you are clearly yourself and with boss as well, then there is a way to find out what are the key information you need to put on the document, what are the stories, what are the flows, what are the data is necessary, what kind of data is not necessary, or things like that. So it depends on who you are talking with and why you are talking with. I don't know whether I answer your question.
Yes, the answer was very clear. Thank you.
Very good comment, everybody. Yeah.
Dobrachna, I can see your hand up. Do you have another question?
No, I just have like raising my hand up. Sorry.
Okay. Do we have any other questions from the audience? If not, then I would take a chance and ask one more. You have presented us, the last example was the A3 for the personal Hoshinkanri, actually your personal Hoshinkanri. And as you said, the rule of a manager is to help people develop. To help people develop, we have first, we should know our own way.
Exactly.
So my question is that the usual, like, is it in Toyota, do you use, is it the usual procedure or to use A3 for personal Hoshinkanri of the managers first?
Actually, in my case, I prepare my Hoshin on A4, small size, but enlarge it. But everybody, Hoshinkanri A3 size is a standard format. A3 size, and the layout the same thing. As I showed the layout, on the left-hand side review of the last years, and then right-hand side is based on that. All the format is something like that. And so they all know that. And so boss is, I don't know what was the question. What was the question again?
The question was because this Hoshinkanri, A3 for Hoshinkanri or personal Hoshinkanri was not mentioned as a typical way of using A3. You presented that this is for the problem solving and status report. And my question is, do you in Toyota use Hoshinkanri A3 for personal Hoshinkanri for the managers before they start to indicate the direction to their people?
Yeah, well, actually, that's a good question. You know, I prepare my own personal Hoshin because I don't work with my boss. I don't have any boss. But
yeah,
if you have a boss, okay, if you working for a boss, and if your boss has maybe 3 people working for him or for her, then the boss assigns, if your boss has maybe 10 or 11 key topics, key areas to cover as a big boss, then you assign one item 1, item 2, item 3 to Mr. A, and item 3 or 4 or 5 that Miss B or something. You assign this. So each people, Mr. A prepare the Hoshin document based on his own assignment. You understand?
yeah,
And so he or she
this.
prepares all those documentation, and then Miss B prepares her own item, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or 4, 5, 6 item, and prepare. So it's an assignment to each people working for the boss. And so and then if you put everything together, that becomes your boss's Hoshin. But boss has a longer and broader point of view, needs to be. So boss has his or her own Hoshin. In other words, based on the boss's Hoshin, then people working for him or for her will break down the boss's Hoshin, and then you focus on your own, the area you are.
That was my question.
We call it cascade down. The Hoshin items is cascaded down from top to the bottom. So in order to make that flow smoothly, it's so important to have a communication, regular review timing. That's why we at Toyota, if you have a regular meeting every month, then at the end of each month, status reporting, then you go through that maybe very quickly about Hoshin of this of the manager. You guys, this is my Hoshin, and you 5 people you are working separately. So what is the status? Things are going okay? Any problems? So sometimes we do all those kind of checkup and each month, not every week. That's too short. Each month we do review, and every 3 months we have a regular review every 3 months. So when you start working January, then March, June, September, then December, or actually November, December. So 4 times, and you review. It's not that you start something in January, then get together in September and the 9th review. No, we do that regularly, and because you are not perfect. So when you plan something, this is important. Still something happens and you cannot accomplish. Then each month or each 3 months, you have a chance to go through not only Hoshin, but status reporting. That is a great opportunity. You just bring it up on the table. And telling boss, I'm assigned this one, and actually I'm working for 3 items. But number 1, I'm doing great. And number 2 is okay. Number 3, I have a problem. And you can express your opinion and and issues that you are now facing on that regular meeting or outside of the regular meeting. You can bring it up to the bosses, because we know that things happen. So it is so important to have a regular checkup for bosses. Because the boss is not the person who do the job. You assign the job to your people. So your job is to check whether everything is okay. And if it's not everything is okay, then you have to advise them, okay, things are sometimes difficult. So you must have you run into some difficulties, show it to me, tell me tell me what I can help you. And we don't say that. We don't say that. Okay, if you are doing good, you're doing. If you're not, if your subordinate is not doing good, doing as original schedule, we don't score them. We don't tell them bad things. Okay, this is not easy. I know that. So you are now facing some problem. Show it to me. Share it with me. Tell me how I can help you out. So that type of conversation take place in each of these regular checkup timing. So that makes Toyota is so different from other companies. Other companies, boss only wants to hear good news. So if the subordinate does not accomplish something, then okay, bring me the good news. Bad news, you are lazy, so it's no good. I don't want to hear that. They don't talk like that, but in their mentality, within Toyota, it's totally different. Bosses said, "Boss, I have some problem. Oh, thank you for telling me you have a problem. Why don't you explain it to all of us? Maybe we can help you guys." So that's so different. So then in that situation, then Hoshinkanri concept can work smoothly. If you don't create that ambience within your team or within your group, then people, won't bring bad news to the bosses. So within Toyota, of course, we make mistakes sometimes. So bad news is welcome within Toyota. Because nobody intentionally fails. Nobody intentionally fails something, right? Want to do the job right, but fails for a couple of reasons. And so it's so important. The boss is always ready to listen to the bad news, ready to listen to the bad news. And so without that type of way of thinking, then the Hoshinkanri does not work. And so Hoshinkanri is so important because let me give an example. Since last year, I've been helping Japanese consulting company since last year, but top management was not so serious. But people working for them, they are so smart people. They are struggling, but they don't trust their bosses. So nothing happened last year. I spent so much time with them. And so I did not fail it, but that project failed just because top management was not so serious. So it's so important. Maybe most of the people are big bosses and so many people working for you guys. Then my advice is I am not going to advise you do exactly what we do at Toyota, but think about it. At Toyota, why Toyota is so successful? Not because people at Toyota are so smartest than anybody. No, same people, same Japanese people working at Toyota, same people and Nissan, Honda, and whatever. Then what makes it different is because the attitude of the bosses. So that makes huge difference. And so anyway, to answer your question, I don't know what was your question, but it's so important to be open to your people and ready to listen bad news, ready to provide help, and also you have to think that one of the role is to attain the goal. You have to at Toyota we have managers needs to attain two goals. One goal is to attain the project attain the target of the group that accomplish the target. Second one is not the second one, same importance. Help people develop. Help people to develop. That is how I was trained. So I still have a lot of respect with my ex-boss. He's I think he's 90 right now. And I'm gonna meet him in January 8th. I have an appointment the other day because John Shook would like to meet my boss. So I made an arrangement and then January 11th. next year. So because I still have a lot of respect because he treats me so good, and every time I make some mistakes, he always, Yoshino, how can I help you? He always said that. So that is what I would like to be. I wanted to be like him. So anyway, that is one of the most important things for bosses. Sorry, I spent too much time in my stupid talks, but
no, thank you very much. You have answered my question and even much more. So that's really adding value to here. So I think that coming back to that Hoshin Kanri, so the life and the work is much easier when we know when we are going, where we are going, the alignments to the goal. Yeah.
I don't know how much time left, but I would like to suggest to you guys, I don't know how many people attending.
We have 50 people still here,
I see.
But we are our time is finishing. So, but we still have like 1 minute.
Well, actually, if you guys want to try creating your Hoshin document, then I will be very happy to help you out. Not because I'm good, but I'm ready. Because it's my goal is to have Hoshin Kanri concept prevail in Europe. And so I'll be very happy to join you to work on that. And so please let me know. Send something through Eva and through Joanna and whatever. And I'll be very happy to work together. And that is my goal in my life.
Yeah, I will come back to you with that.
Sure.
Because we have already talked
so.
about
Okay.
that. Yeah,
sure. We'll work together. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So it's time to finish because it's 2:50. So just exactly as we planned that.
Oh, really? I'm terribly sorry for I'm terrible with my computer. So, but
I think it happens to all of us with those computers.
Thank you. You're so nice.
So thank you very much for the very interesting lecture and for the discussion. And thank you all for the question and for being here during the lecture. We will be back, Mr. Yoshino.
Okay, great. Thank you all.
Yeah, our audience writes that on the chat. I can see. We will be back. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Appreciate. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.